So here we go. I know my subscribers are not used to have me speaking in English, but yeah, I have this skill, so we can use it. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I have two stories, two short stories to tell you about this moment here. So um, I have a mentorship program where I help people that are not from software development to get into the software development world. So one of the people that are working with me is called Charles, and Charles is he loves to speak English, and he got this project where he shares stories about English learners around the world and how to work with technology, not even technology, but work anywhere using the English, to speak English, and this is one story. And then I was talking to Fernanda. She's living in the Netherlands also, and she was telling me, "Oh, you should hear this." And she got me this link from CodeBuddies podcast, and I was like, "I gotta talk to them." And we are going to have a conversation with Lígia in the Mais Dev project, which is a project that I have that we are looking to share information about when we want to start playing with technology and play with software development. This is one of the projects I'm leading, but it's all focused in Portuguese because we have this difficulty in the language in Brazil. Like there's not a lot of people who speak. Oh, you should speak English. Yeah, we should, but we don't. So how do we play with this? And so we start this project only speaking in Portuguese and get the large amount of
Yeah.
information we can get in Portuguese. But I told Fernando I have to talk with them about the project, about the Code Buddies thing. And so here I am. I'm starting my content in English right now. And my background is not cool. It's not the English translated background in my YouTube channel, but who cares? We are here to share stories, and I want you all to present yourself and tell me how do you got in software development, how this started, and thanks for your time here.
Yeah, sure. I think Anu can start because she has a
Okay.
background more related.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Daniel, for inviting us. It's been a pleasure, and we're really excited to be here. And nervous too because I think podcast is easier because it doesn't have the video. And this is the first time I'm on screen. So, yes, but it's really fantastic to be here. I have done my software engineering, so I do have the background. I used to enjoy programming back in college days. Uh, but then, of course, I had a very long career break. I was a full time parent. And when I wanted to come back into working, this was in 2017. It was a very hard decision as to what I should pursue because I was completely out of touch with software industry, and you know how overnight there are libraries being built. So if I've like not been in touch for so many years, there's a lot to catch up. So that was one biggest hurdle I had. And secondly, we were moving back to India. So we were in Netherlands, but we were moving back to India, and it's really hard to have a good balance of work and life back there if you're starting as a junior in software industry and you've kids to take care of. And again, it was a new place to go to after so many years. So yeah, so it was a big thing. So I decided to go to teaching, which really interested me. And it,
I want you to talk about the Montessori process.
yes,
This is something very important.
actually, I got introduced to Montessori through my kids because that was the only English speaking playgroup we could find in Amsterdam to bring our kids to. And I was completely taken by the whole philosophy, how it worked and how it worked for us as a family. And I really wanted to learn more about it. And when we were moving back to India, and it's also very common in India, on the Montessori, you can find a lot of primary schools there which follow Montessori. And I got in touch with this amazing teacher who trains Montessori teachers. So yeah, that's how I got into the whole thing, and I truly believe in the philosophy. So that was again a big plus for me to get into it. Um, and then yes, I started working as a teacher, but then we had to move back to Netherlands, and then here everything is in Dutch, and yeah, so again, it was a big hurdle to go back into teaching because I'm not very fluent in Dutch. And if I have to talk to 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds in Dutch and teach them, that's not something that was going to happen any soon. So I had to, it was a very hard decision to not pursue teaching here because I had started liking really so much, and it was I really wanted to make a difference in teaching. But yeah, it was a hard decision. But then again, life goes on. You have to follow something. You want to do something. So then I thought the next best thing I would love to do is to be able to, just a second. Yeah. Yeah, is to be able to do programming, because that was something I had done back then. I did a lot of research to see if, even if I can go back to it, because I have programmed in C++, but without these fancy text editors, and so everything was new to me, the libraries and the frameworks. But it took a little while to understand what I wanted to do. But luckily, when I started attending these meetups with all the boot camps, then it gave me a kind of a picture. Okay, web development is something maybe I would like to do. So I wanted to try it out. So that's how I ended up coming here.
Very good. The meetups are something they're very important into getting to know the areas
Yes.
or communities. Like sometimes you find a community. Oh, the technology is cool, but the community is not. They're not very welcome to new people. They're learning. But you can find some other communities that are, well, you're welcome. Come join us, and we're gonna help you
Yeah.
pursue your career and all this stuff. So um, when I started playing around with communities, it's like 15 more than 15 years ago. I was like, we gonna be warm welcome to who's coming with us. Like build a path so people can join, they can learn, they can teach, and then they can do whatever they want to do. But they got the full circle playing with the community. So this is something I was like always concerned about when we are building a community. Like how can you share? You can provide knowledge, but you want that person that is listening, so that person can become and teach someday anything that person wants. Like could be a hello world to those people who don't know how to do a hello world, and that would be great because at that moment the hello world is not the problem. The problem is to how do you speak it to with a public, like something like that. So a community can be a place where we can build skills, and it's great to know your story because you have the teaching process, you have all these Montessori autonomy questioning process that it's with you. So like you could do great in software development as a building software coding, but your Montessori skills would help you a lot and will help you a lot if you go into business analysts analysis and process like that, product building, product, this it's very good. And we have Lígia as a journalist. How you come into software development? Tell me that.
Yeah, it's like great. By the way, I'm Brazilian. I'm speaking English, but I'm Brazilian. So, oi, gente, tudo bem? And actually, when I was living in Brazil, I graduated in UFMG, na Universidade Federal de Minas Gerais, in communication. And I really love it. I really love to be a journalist, and I was always that was always my plan. And I started to work in broadcast. I started to work in TV UFMG. That was a small and local broadcast inside the college, or my college. And then I learned a lot there. It was amazing, and I was invited to work in Bandeirantes, a bunch. And back then, I was already something's wrong. I was already thinking maybe this is not for me. And I spent there a while, and I was invited to come to Europe to study in Algarve in Portugal. And here I was focusing in specializing journalism. So in FMG, I was not really focusing in journalism yet. My career was more journalist folks, but during my graduation, I was really focusing in learning more everything about communication, anthropology, sociology, and those kind of things. But when I came to Algarve, I said, no, okay, I'm going to study journalism. So I'm going to study media, TV, language. That's what I'm going to focus. And then I was almost sure that it was not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Back then it was okay, but it was once I have a family, once I have other plans for my life, it's going to be quite hard to have a journalist career, especially because the market's now in a crisis. And then I come back to Brazil back then. It was 2016. Already thinking this is not going to work. I have to find something new to do, but I had no clue what I could do, because since I was 8, that was my plan. And I was there with 23, 32, I don't know. And thinking, okay, that's not my plan anymore, where I'm going. And I was already making I have my plan already to move to the Netherlands because my boyfriend is Dutch. And we were already starting the process. It took me half a year around. So I didn't look for any job because I knew I would move. And then I was already thinking, okay, when I go there, journalism is going to be quite hard to follow. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to be a journalist right there because the language is hard, and to find a job in journalism when you don't speak the language, it's almost impossible. So what I'm going to do? Then I spent the next 2 years thinking about exactly that, what I'm going to do. And I was one day scrolling my LinkedIn, like doing nothing, just passing by my feed, and then I saw this opportunity for women who want to join Code, who wants to start their career in tech. And this bootcamp was offering scholarships. And I don't know how it is. I never look for bootcamps in Brazil, but I know that here bootcamps are something really expensive.
They call boot camps, and they are expensive too. But they have these some companies that are doing boot camps here. They use this process where you don't have to pay anything, but after you get a job, you can pay us back, something like
Yeah,
that.
here they're also
Income based model, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, here is almost the same as for some companies, but some of them are not like this. You have to pay after finish, and it's crazily expensive. And I earned a scholarship for against all the odds because I was so sure that I would not. And while I was doing, we had one assignment, and actually more than one. We have one big assignment and small test that we have to do in a website. I was noticing that I really love what I was doing. I was like I really love that. And then I started the course, what made me more excited. And I was seeing that I could do it and that I was able to do it. And it was way more related to my background and the skills that I had, because it's learning a new language, it's talking to a computer, to a browser. And I kind of got more excited with it. And in the middle to the end of my course, I was 100% sure that I wanted to be a developer. So yeah, that's how I jump from journals. But I still using. I like to use a bit my background in communication, doing some articles and doing the podcasts. So those kind of things. I still use everything that I learned on it. So it's not that I throw everything away, but I like to be a full-time developer.
We never do that. Like we never. Oh, I don't need this knowledge anymore.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. Like
Yeah.
we're always bundling the things we have. Like you're gonna be a great software developer because you know how to write, you know how to document, you know how to make questions, there's so many
Yeah.
things you can do that the default software development person would not even have a clue how to do that. So things like writing an article or writing a question could be something very hard for this ego based person. But you're a journalist, like I have questions, I'm gonna ask people about stuff. So you have all, it's very good. Like one of the things I have learned about uh, working in software development is the the total amount of skills I have to learn after the college. They're
Yeah.
not when I was at college, and I was like, why nobody told me about that? You know, because I used to be the person that says that, oh, you know what? I'm never gonna write a book. I'm never. I'm never gonna lecture. You know, I just want to code, and here we are. You know, and I think that was something like I don't know. I was trying to challenge my mother or something like that, but because she was whole life as a teacher, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be the teacher, but I teach in college for 7 years, post graduate courses for I don't know 10 years or something like that right now. And the thing is, like, there's so many skills you can learn as a software developer. You know, how to code, how to write, how to make questions, how to build products, how to not write code. This is something very important to learn too. And I was thinking, like, I would like to understand from your point. First, I want to get into the CodeBuddies project. Like, you were talking about these in your challenges and how this project became a reality.
Yeah, me and Anu, we after we finished, we did a lot of things together during the course because I come from broadcast, so I'm always in a rush. So this Scrum thing with me works but does not works because if you give me like a feature, I finish in 2 hours. And she's also really fast, and she has already the knowledge for her background. So we are always doing side projects. We had like tons of side projects, and we have IDs. And I wake up at 1 a.m. I knew I have a new ID, and this was our process doing the course and a bit after the course. And we were in this point when we finished the boot camp, and we were looking for a job, and we were looking also and see how the market is. And we knew we could do something better than what it was there, because when we start the boot camp, I remember that we were 7 girls. It was a class of girls. Complete coincidence. There was not a coincidence. It was nothing that they wanted, but actually they end up with 7 girls in the class. And I remember one of the first class that we had, like the first 2 weeks or something. We were sitting at the table, and everybody was talking about that they miss some podcasts that talk for beginners, because all the podcasts that we try to hear, it was something that was too advanced for us. And then we thought, okay, we never saw anybody who speak for only beginners, for people who has no idea what code is. Like for me 7 months ago, we don't have this. So we should create, because for us this was such amazing break that we had to go for a boot camp to learn new things. And we want to help people, especially women. We are really focusing on that, to not be afraid, because I say that a lot in our podcast, that everything that I knew about code was Mr. Robot in Silicon Valley, and all the other films. And for me, there was like genius people, like those people who are amazingly genius, and nothing that I could relate. I could not relate with those people. Could not relate with that society, and this put me so far away from coding that it was never an option for me. I never thought about programming being something for me, because I have no clue what it was. So we came up with the podcast actually to bring people to the technology world and to make it as an option for them.
Yeah.
This
And
this is very important to make an option.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
when I talk to young people, they're like, oh no, technology is too hard, or technology is something, or technology is for people. They create these stereotypes of who is in software development, and I was like, software development is just a skill. You can decide if you want it to be your full-time skill, or if it's just something you know how to play with, because and I was like, this is, let me get a book here, just in 1 second. There's this book here, because i I'm a software developer, I know how to play with Scratch, but I was thinking about how can I teach Scratch for my kid. Like I have a child here, and I was like, I cannot teach her as a software development hat. Like she's gonna run away from home. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I was like, I'm gonna get a book. Like what is the the pace and how it learns. Like couldn't. She doesn't listen to me. I'm her father. Like but I was. I heard that at school they were playing with Scratch, and I was like, "So, do you like to code?" And she was like, "No, I don't code." But you play with Scratch, right? And she was like, "No, we draw on it." But yeah, but you draw and the character moves around, right? Yeah, we do stuff with that. That's coding. And she was like, "Oh, so I like it." And this is the abstraction. I was not aware of the. I wanted her to code, but the thing is, the question was wrong. She loves to draw. So if I start the process like when she could draw a character, and then we could build a story, and then after we saw there could be some sort of coding or story being told, or you know and I was like, yeah, I have so much to learn about this abstraction process. And and I went back to, I'm gonna show just one more thing here. It's not, here's a book about the Montessori education I got from my mother, and I was like, sorry mama, I'm gonna hear you more. And because the Montessori process helps me with these questions,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah, so I'd like to get your point in this, Anuradha, like the questioning and the code buddies and this have no fear process, because this is something very important, I believe, in your process.
No, it is. It is. As you were talking about Scratch, how your daughter looked at it, it's very interesting. I think that is also, I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's also one of the reasons why um, I see um, there is less hesitance for people to try out the web development, I would say, because you do something and you immediately see it on the screen, and which gives them that confidence that this is something I might be able to do actually, you know and and you're right, this have no fear. But of course the fear is always in the unknown. Unless you try it out, you are not going to know whether you would be able to do it or not. And again, it is a skill, and skill is something you can always learn, you can always practice and get better. And that is something very Montessori-ish, that uh, the more you keep practicing what you're keep practicing, and that's how you get better at something. You master it by practicing, you master the skill. So, and that is really important when you are starting to code, I would say. I mean, for that matter, anything that you start as a new career, practice is the key that's going to help you master that skill. So yes, I absolutely agree with you. And code buddies, um uh, what I would like to add to what Ligia said on why we started is also that, after we finished the boot camp and we were looking for job, and uh, on the side we were trying to build projects, confused whether we should build more projects or we should refactor the ones we already have built. We were going through all of that kind of a phase. And then you look at job opportunities, and then you see, oh, they want this stack, oh, they want this, but I don't know that, I don't know Docker yet, I have not read anything on AWS yet, but they want it along with React. So there's so many questions that you have. And we thought, someone like us who's going through this, if we talk about it, it probably would help people who are going to go through this be more prepared, because there was still a gap that we felt we had. Like, we finished the boot camp and bam, we are into this phase of finding a job. Of course, this is also a very challenging phase all over the world because of the crisis that's going on. But other than that, we still thought there is something more that could be said out to people who are getting into boot camps. As she pointed out, there are a lot of materials and podcasts and videos for the next level, that when you've already started learning, there's so many projects you can do with the help of YouTube tutorials. But we see very less people from the boot camp talking about, oh, how I went through this in the last 4 months, because we had sleepless nights, we had lots of coding days that staring at the screen, but we also enjoyed it, of course. So there are a lot of things that we went through, and maybe we could have added a few more things which could have made it better, or maybe we could have. So there are a lot of things that we went through, and really wanted to share it so that it helps people. Yeah.
It's very good. And
Yeah, and
I remember a phrase I have that says that curiosity needs to be greater than your frustration, because you're gonna get frustrated. That's one thing about
yeah,
software development. You see working in the tutorial, but it doesn't work in your setup, and it's like it happens all the time. And I remember when I started writing articles about technology, I was like I was frustrated because I was in this tutorial, and the person who wrote it, uh, you know, it was great that the person was sharing knowledge, but she jumped a few steps, and those steps I have no clue what to do, and I was like, what's happening here? What's happening here? And when I learned it, I wanted to write a new article just to show what's happening into step 4 and 5 that no one tells you, but no, this is so default. No, it's not default. I don't know how to do that. So I was thinking about this process, and I believe CodeBuddies it's going to be a great project ever because of this, because you are talking to people that are starting, and even people who are wanting to come back, like Anuradha is doing. Like, I have this career, but I have different path. I have done my life as a parent, and now I want to go back, and I want to share my knowledge, and I want to apply my skills. And I don't know, I think the Montessori process is going to help you a lot in this process. This is my you can print it if you want. But Lígia, you were going to say something else here, sorry.
no, I said that I would say that we receive a lot of messages on LinkedIn of people asking us. They're starting development. What do we think? What do you think if they should start in development? Or what do you think? Which kind of bootcamp is good for them? So we had a lot of those questions. This was also a point that we had, that okay, we need to talk with those people because they're as lost as us.
You
And
have a question here, for instance. Look at this. João is
yeah,
asking, how is the market in Netherlands? Your
yeah,
podcast is so inspiring for new developers. That's the thing,
yeah, exactly. We received actually last week we received like three messages, exactly the same thing, saying for
Yes.
women that was really nice. And they were saying exactly the same thing. They were saying, "Oh, I'm starting this path, and it's hard for me because I could not find a boot camp." So it was good to hear from your experience. Inspired me a lot, and now I'm looking for a boot camp. So those kind of questions are really, really good. And then we thought, okay, we have to talk to those people, because when we were starting, we didn't have anyone talking to us when we commit some mistakes, we did some things wrong, and we want to make their path easier.
This is great. And no, getting outside Brazil, for instance, and go living to any other place, and the same thing goes if you get any other country. But I would like to ask you about this. Like, what was your process like? You were learning about English. Anuradha, how is your education related to know a different language or learning new stuff? And I would like to
Uh,
understand that process.
I think coming from India, most of us, I think by default, are either bilingual or multilingual because you learn your mother tongue. Most likely, if your mother tongue is not Hindi, then you learn Hindi as well. And your education is most of the time in English. So that's the third language that you learn. So while growing up, by default, we at least know a couple of languages. Um, so that makes it kind of easier or less scary to do something that is not known to you yet. So when I moved to Netherlands, again, learning Dutch, of course, Dutch is not an easy language to learn, but it was kind of it was not like a big block in my head that, oh, it's a new language, I have to learn it. Because coming from India, I think that made it easy, that it's a new challenge. Oh, we've lost Licia. um, yeah, yeah, but yeah, but it has been great. I mean, I love learning new languages. I've also been in Sweden for a short period. We were not there for longer, but then during that time, I tried to learn a little bit of Swedish, at least to be able to talk to people in the supermarket and things like that. So I enjoy learning, not just language. I think I enjoy learning. So uh, my age doesn't stop me from learning new things. That's what I tell people as well, that age is never a deterrent when you want to learn. And I would definitely say when it comes to software development, um, at any point you have to keep learning because it keeps changing every day, every month. So yeah.
It's very important. She's coming back. She got an issue with the mobile phone.
Mhm.
Well, one of the things I want to ask you is about, as you said, there was this boot camp looking for women to be in technology space. But how do you see this? Not only the diversity process, but I like to think about the openness to have new people coming in the area and especially
I
in
think
Netherlands.
Um, well, we still aren't in a job yet, so I wouldn't be able to give an inside picture of how people see you at work. That is not something. Yeah, probably in a few months we would be able to talk about that as well. But now, when we are going through this whole job searching thing, I do see that partially, yes, it's also the whole COVID crisis that the juniors are not being hired at this moment. So the market is not looking really great for us. But also the places where they are looking for juniors, the preference when you come from a boot camp isn't so great unless you are able to show that edge. And that is something that people who are not formally getting trained in college for computer science and are coming into this will really have to take into consideration, because you need to have that edge to be able to be your CV to be picked up. Because um, while there are companies, I would definitely say there are companies who are willing to look at people who are coming from boot camps, because that also shows that how much you can learn in a 3 months period, because it is a steep learning curve. And when you go through that, then that also shows that how good you are in learning quickly. So that does show that while but there aren't so many. So I think it's still taking time, people would still, uh, the reasons that we get is mostly that, yes, we still want some more experience. It's still not enough, even though they're looking for a junior. So you need to have that edge. And I think that only comes by more coding and good projects and, yeah, that sort of thing.
You did a good question. Like, I was thinking about my company here, one of my companies where we are not hiring right now, but we started thinking about this. How can we hire someone that is not, we hired higher experience or lots of years of experience, because we are all remote, and
Yeah.
but we should tackle this. We should look for how to play with this problem, because if we want to give opportunity for people who are starting, how can we do it now?
Yeah,
But now is the most difficult time to do. Yes, that's why we should try it now, because right, nothing's going to be more difficult than this moment right now.
absolutely.
You know, so when people are no, no, let's leave it for 6 months from now. No, 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 maybe now it's a good time to try it, because we're going to fail every single day trying it. But if the person that's coming aboard with us is okay with that, I think we can try to play with the process. But I don't see. I want to see more companies thinking at the same way, because you know.
No, no, true. You're right, and I do understand that it's also not easy for them to open their mind, because it is also an investment for a company. But then again, I think that is where what comes into picture is, what are you looking for in the employee that you want? That is it someone who can learn, who can adapt, and who can do what is needed, or are we looking at what they have done in the past? So of course, you as a newcomer, I cannot match the experience of someone who is already there in the industry. But when given a chance, I think people who are changing their career, it's a biggest step that you're taking. You're being brave and being moving from one career where you're settled or doing something, or for matter, like I'm coming from a break. So this is a biggest step. So the determination is really high, the motivation is high to be able to perform in a specific role, or you know and if there are more companies willing to take that chance and give that chance, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, is Lígia here? It's
Yes,
working.
yes, yeah. It's important to say that
Yeah,
here it's summer. It's like 100,000 degrees, so my phone overheats. I have to pick another computer. It's a mess.
work. It's working. But
Yeah, I'm back.
we were talking about companies hiring people that are coming into the technology space, and how you are experiencing this process of starting to get into positions and get interviewed by companies. I would ask you about the types of technologies you were playing with in during the boot camps, and how you are playing right now. Maybe sharing projects in GitHub, or how you are playing with the knowledge and trying to apply for positions in companies.
Yes, our stacks in the bootcamp is basically JavaScript library. So we work with React and Node.js. And yeah, we kind of, during the bootcamp, it's 4 months and a half. So we kind of pass by. We don't go really deep in any technology. We kind of we learn a lot of front end, learn a lot of React, but the back end stay a bit by, we don't go too deep into the back end technology. So yeah, nowadays it's quite hard to find a job because they're requiring a lot for juniors. You can see like they want juniors with 5 years experience in AWS and 2 years experience in Docker and fluent in React and those kind of things. So yeah, the companies are really hoping that you have a big stack. So, but yeah, what are we doing right now? I'm really focusing in developing my skills that I already have. I was a bit studying a bit of GraphQL and MongoDB for to increase to make my backend knowledge to open more a bit my backend knowledge because we work with SQL and but now I really want to make the base. I'm going back to the base. I'm more focusing in make my HTML, my CSS, and my JavaScript stronger because sometimes I miss this kind of basic knowledge when I'm developing an application. Even though I can go through libraries and frameworks and make things work, I miss that I could I could really build a better code, a more clean code with a stronger knowledge of JavaScript and HTML. So right now, that's what I'm focusing. I know that Anu is in another language; she's leaving me.
I'm
I'm
not
making
leaving
sense.
you. No,
You are expanding the
I'm
knowledge.
expanding. I'm expanding the knowledge. Yes. I think, yes, as she said, we touched back in very little, and it has been more JavaScript, React. Uh, but what I think needs to be done on the side for people who are coming from a non-tech background to this, I would definitely say is uh, get practice your algorithmic skills. That is important, and I think that's something we miss while doing the boot camp because it's not enough time. There's really not enough time. You're more focused on coming up with the projects that, of course, there is algorithm involved, but it's very less. And but when you start applying for companies, you have these tech assessments. They really want to see that skill in you, and there are a lot of these websites like Code Wars and other websites. I cannot think of it right now, where you can practice them. So that is very important, and I think that's one thing Lydia is also now doing a lot. I know that. No, for me, I think I've been really focused on trying to find a role with React, but as everybody knows, it's a really hard time, and there isn't enough opportunities. So uh, it suddenly struck me that it's fine to open up and expand. So I am trying to also see how it is with PHP and Symfony a little bit. I've not gone deeper. I've not left you, Lígia, from React. No, we will still build more projects. I promise you that. So yeah, but this is what we have been doing, and also the other thing I'm focusing on is trying to understand CSS better, because again, that is something we just brushed through in the 4.5 months. A lot of patchwork in our projects, but then I think when you join a company, what they want to also see is clean code, and it's really important that you have like the basics of how styling is done, and in the right way. Like, of course, you can add a lot of uh, uh, numbers here and there and get it to work, but there is also another right way that we can do it. That's one thing. And one thing also is, I think towards the end of our course, which we focused on, was also testing, the unit testing part, which some of us went in deep and some didn't. They didn't want to explore it. But for me, I felt it really important that because it is also seen as a skill that's looked, that they want to have in a junior developer. So yeah, so we, Lígia, me, we went in deep a little bit into unit testing. She also went into backend testing for her project. So yeah, so this is all we were involved in so far, and yeah.
Did we answer the question that we have now? I want to answer.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was thinking about the process I'm running with the people I'm helping here. It's kind of the Daniel bootcamp or something like that. But I don't have the audacity to see that I have a bootcamp. No, it's not the process. But I try to teach three things to people here. One, how to play with GitHub. So you know how to get code, put code back, and play with merges and trunk-based development, pull requests, and try to understand that process. That's one thing. The other thing is how to play with automated tests, so unit tests, functional tests, and why is that? Why is that happening? Why you need to provide your code with automated tests? So one of the great skills I have, or if you look at my characteristics as a person, I'm a lazy person. I'm total lazy person, and that's why I do tests. Like, I don't want to see my code. I don't want to get near to that code again. So I want to make sure it's working with the knowledge I have. And thinking about questions, we were talking about questions before. Like, you answer those questions with code. So, whoa, if this is working, if I put 5 and press that and go here, the message is this one. So you write a test to check if that is happening. So you get a scenario doing the whole thing. So the good thing about testing is this process. So I teach them about this. And the third thing I'm gonna teach them. I'm gonna, because we're running this circuit right now. Um, how do I learn? So I learned getting coding dojo problems, or computer programming competitions problems, and playing with them, building code, automated, and working with the logic. So this is not exactly related to learning a front end stack or something like that. Maybe it is, because I can play with the functional tests of it. But the things I'm doing here is more get my pace, thinking about problems, thinking about data structures. I know that during the day, playing a job, we're not going to build. I'm going to build a new queue systems from scratch. No, not gonna do that. You're gonna use one of the frameworks available, and that's it. But you know how it works. So if you're playing with MongoDB, you know how the document structures work, and you know how to index that, and how to get what you need, and how to search. If you go for GraphQL, you know the process behind a graph, and you understand how to connect information and play with that. So the thing about learning the basics, it's good. When you think about CSS, yeah, oh, I have done a lot of things. No, but baby, I know how to get things to be rounded, and I know how to make things move around the screen and works well on the mobile or tablet or any sort of screen you play with. Maybe with React, I can play with working in my website or my mobile application or a native one. You can play different, flavors of the same process. So this is the good thing about playing around. Maybe you can get a project where you can go in all those different spaces. And so I have this project. So if you want to know who I am, here's my GitHub profile. This is a project where I play around with lots of stuff. So you can check it there. So I used to do that with articles I used to write for magazines here in Brazil. So, you know who I am? Go to I don't know how to say banca in English, but anyway, you go, you buy a magazine, and here I am. I'm in the magazine. You can read my stuff there. You know who I am. And so it kind of makes your process like your card. Here's who I am. I'm a learner. That's who I am. And this is what I'm trying to, when I'm interviewing someone for a position in a job position, is like who you are. But I don't want to know like your whole experience. I want to know, how do you learn? Because we are not doing repetitive stuff. We are getting problems. We are splitting problems into smaller problems. We are trying to understand the abstractions around it, and we play with that. We recognize patterns. So you're playing with PHP and Symfony, you're gonna, oh, it's related. And if you're gonna learn Ruby and Rails, you go, oh, I see connections here. Oh, this is where it came from, and you learn faster. So every time,
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
when I
Yeah, no, when I'm doing now Symphony, I can, but the file structure is so different. But then when I try to compare it with React, how I render there, where the HTML goes, and how it happens here, it's easier to then learn.
and you are
You're
not
right.
trying
You're
to do the
absolutely
same
right.
way. You learn the Symfony way, the React
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you respect the spaces. Like, if I'm gonna play in a project, it's in Python or in Java, I'm gonna write the code the same way. The abstractions may be the same, but when I apply it, it works different in each one of the projects. And this is the good thing about playing. Lígia, is like the same thing when you were producing for TV, or maybe social media, or writing to a paper or a magazine, or it's kind of the structure is different, but the words may be the same sometimes, but the way you play around. And this is the thing when I think about thinking about computing, and the computer thinking. It's something like the abstraction process, the design patterns, the patterns recognition process, the splitting process. You can split the problem into small problems. This is the good thing I see about learning. The learning process, like, oh, this is close to that. So, oh, I know. I think I know. Oh no, I don't know. Oh, and you start playing with the process. So this is fun for me. This is fun. Like how this works. And one of the things could be clone an application, like, oh, we're gonna do the same thing here and see how it goes. So
Yeah, exactly. I always relate learning computer language as a learning language, because even though like Dutch is completely not related to Portuguese, it could not be more not related to Portuguese, but or English or Spanish or any other language. But if you already knew a language, if you already learned a language, you kind of understand how the process is. You kind of understand how it works better for you, because also the learning process, it's changed person by person. It's not the same as with everyone. So I know how I learn language. I know how I do. I know how my process is. I know the language have verbs, and yeah, at least the language that I know. I know they have verbs. I know they have nouns. So this structure, this logic is already set in my mind. So to learn a new language, it's easier. That's why I think the basics one of the most important things to know and to focus on when you're starting developing and programming, because this is going to make your life way easier in the future. So if you're working with a language like JavaScript, it was the first one that I have contact with, and I am working now with JavaScript, and I know how object-oriented language works. When I'm gonna learn PHP, I'm already so far ahead. I'm already so many steps ahead because I know how object-oriented language works. And when I go to a framework, have a strong knowledge of JavaScript. I'm going to React, to Angular. I I know how it's gonna work, even though I cannot use the framework yet. Not, even though I'm not aware how to exactly everything goes where. I know how JavaScript works, so it's going to be way easier being front end with React, being back end with Node.js. It's going to be way easier to understand at least what's happening. Even if I cannot speak the language, but I cannot speak English, for instance, some words that's there, some structure that's there, it make me understand what's happening. And this is my first step learning a new thing. So I think the basic knowledge and for you to know exactly the logic of a computer language works make so easy to learn everything. And also a tip that I would give for people who are starting now to focus, because it's so hard to focus when you're starting, because it's like 100 languages, 100 frameworks, 100 libraries, 100 things happen at the same time, and to focus is something so hard. And if you want to learn something, if you want to learn how to program, you have to really put your mind on it and have the basic really strong, and then you can jump to frameworks or you can jump for another language. So you have to have a goal in your mind, and after that set your path.
it's very good. It's like I was thinking about getting a first job, get a first job, and then you can start moving around, like because you have financial stability or something like that, and then you can breathe, and then okay, I got here, I understand what I'm doing. So what's next? So let's see how it goes. Um, I want to thank you for your time here. I would like you to share a bit about CodeBuddies for people. I'm putting the Instagram here. In the description of this video, you got the Instagram link, and also there's a link tree link where you can find the podcast in all different platforms. And I would like you guys to give some last words for who's watching and who is looking for maybe move to Netherlands, and what people can do to learn better, or to be less not so pressed about you gotta learn. No, you will learn, but you got your pace. Find someone to help you. and what are your tips to people that are coming to technology?
You go
Oh,
first.
Anu or me?
You go first. Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, first I'm gonna say my tips and then I talk a bit about CodeBuddies. Yeah, I think it's a good idea for me to say about tips to move into Netherlands because I'm Brazilian, so I came from the same place that I believe most of the people who are there watching. And yeah, I think Netherlands is one of the hardest place to get a visa for Brazilians. It's not that easy. You have to have a strong reason to be here. But in case you already have a way to get a visa and you're planning to move here, I believe that is one of the best places to work in technology. And if you already have a strong technology background, if you already are a developer, meteor, I'm not sure, but senior for sure, you can find a job here. And because they love Brazilians, I already have two companies who say exactly the same thing, and they really say that we love Brazilians. We are always hiring Brazilians. So yeah, I believe if you're a senior already, or yeah, meteor, I'm not sure, but 5 years plus experience for sure. If you contact some companies here, they can give an opportunity. In case you want to start your studies here in technology, I think it's one of the best place to learn because here it's basically where most of the tech communities and companies in technology are. And because of Brexit, a lot of huge companies are coming here and they are looking for people. And the Dutch companies are so strong in technology. Like we have the ADN that's Dutch. We have a DNS that they're Ryanels here. So they are really invested. They're really tech place, the Netherlands. So this it would be amazing if you could come here and study or to work here. And for beginners, my tip would be to find someone who's already there in case you don't have money to pay for a boot camp or for a course. You can reach a developer, can be me, can be Anu, can be maybe you, I'm not sure, Danielle, but you can reach a lot of developers. It's an amazing community. It's so easy to talk with. Everybody's gonna help you for sure. So find someone who is already there, who is already developing, and ask to show you a path where you can follow. So find someone to follow because as I told you, there's a lot of things happen at the same time. There's a lot of release and frameworks. It's one frameworks per day, per week, and this gets you a bit crazy how to start. And also there's a lot of terms like Git, you don't know what it is, or when you go for backend technology, there's a lot of things happening, and this can get you a bit confused and can delay a bit your learning process. So I would recommend you to find someone who's already there, who's already developing for a while, or who is working in a company to follow their path. And then with their help, you can find what's going to be better for you. But to start by yourself 100%, yeah, for me, did not work. It was good that I had a course to give me the support. Now about the CodeBuddies. CodeBuddies is a nice project me and Anu developed to exactly to be that buddy that I'm just talking about, to be that helper, that person who is going to be with you during your whole career process in technology. We are also building our career, so it's not someone who is like 100 years in the market and coming back and talk about 100 years back. We are talking of things that we are experiencing now, so it's brand new. We are in the same place as you, confused and trying to gather as much as information as possible. And if you're planning to start in tech, or if you're in the first week, first days of boot camp, or if you're planning to join a boot camp, I believe that's an amazing place to learn a bit and to understand if it is really for you, if you really would enjoy that, or even if coding is something that's going to be your future. And we like to share the things that we are discovering doing our path, our career path, and yeah, that's basically what code buddies. That the name is self-explanatory. Like we are your code buddy. We want to code together with you and develop together with you.
Very good.
Yeah,
Anu?
to add to what Ligia said, of course, I do not have so much knowledge on the Brazilian side of it. But what I would say, which would I think apply universally, is that if you are thinking of changing your path into technology, uh, the best place to start would be the meetups. Of course, now most of it is virtual, but I'm really hoping that things start changing soon and we meet in person, because that really gives an idea that you're not alone. There are several people in your situation trying to do the same change, and if you see people in that same place, it kind of makes it easy for you to make the decision as well. I think that was also one of the reason I could make the decision, because I did see people in the same situation. They are also going through the same dilemma, so it's not that you alone are going through it. People who are changing their career path are. And then when you are in the process of learning by yourself, yes, reach out to people who are already in this field, because I think technology development is one field where I see there is so much help we get. People are really open to give their share their ideas. They are ready to mentor. Like even when we were doing our projects, we had these two amazing developers who kept giving us ideas on how we can do it better. And it's just a matter of asking the right people, and you do get a lot of information. And find people who are also going through the same. I think for me, having this constant interaction with Lígia, and the same for her with me, really helps us to get through this situation, because it's not easy to find a job as a junior. But then when we share, okay, I'm struggling with this, I'm going through this, okay, let's try this together. You need that buddy as well. Of course, you need that person who is guiding you, but you also need that buddy who's also going through this with you. So if you're not in a boot camp and doing it yourself, try reaching out online and finding people who are going through this also by themselves. That would also help. The support group really helps. Um, and then uh, and then learning is always something that has to be consistent. So baby steps is fine, but then the way to do it, I would say, is if it looks like a humongous task, you can start as small as setting up maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes per day to start with. Because once you get into that habit, it becomes really easy to uh, develop on it, make it better and better. So that beginning, that starting, that putting a routine to it is really, really important when you're learning. And coming to CodeBuddies, of course, a lot of viewers are Brazilian, but the podcast that we have is irrespective of whether you're from Netherlands or not, because most of what we talk about, I think, relates to most of the countries. Other than, of course, when it comes to job, it does change. But then, other than that, when we talk about learning, when we talk about the struggles, I think it is kind of really, it resonates with everyone around the world. So uh, I really hope that it resonates with you when you are going through this, and that is the whole purpose of we doing this. And we have a lot of ideas of what we want to do in future, what all we would like to talk about, and we are excited about it. And thank you, Daniel, for this amazing opportunity, because this is something new. I've never done this before, but I really truly enjoyed this session. I also got to learn a lot from you on how you think, your perspective, and it's something great to learn today. Yes, thank you very much.
You look professional doing this. Let me say that. So the good thing about doing this process, I was really afraid of doing lives, the beginning of the year. So I started doing some trainings, online trainings, because I didn't want to go back to classes, personal class, presential classes, and just do it online. And then I started doing the lives. So I'm doing from 6 to 8 hours of lives during the week. So I still didn't lose my fear from doing lives, right? So, but it's easier for me when when Lígia dropped it off our call, it's fine. She's gonna come back. Just let me send a message for her saying it's all good, and that's it. And she's gonna come back. Be cool. Get another computer. It's gonna work now. And the thing is, the first time this happened, and I was doing the live show, and my internet dropped. It whoa, I have someone live and I'm not there. So let's go back. So I have, I have for instance, I have these just an example. I have this thing here is a battery pack. I have a ring light there. I have my 4G connection. I have StreamYard here too. I can get out of internet lights and I can still be live. So I'm cool. But you just learn this from doing a lot of times, like you said, the Montessori thing, like we're gonna practice and learn and see how we do stuff. And this is the cool thing about playing with software development is that I'm gonna get frustrated, and that's cool. But I have more curiosity above that, and this is the cool thing about playing with learning how to do lives or doing live coding. Maybe maybe I'm gonna start a Twitch channel to do some live coding with my students. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I'm getting to know more about me doing this in this context, me speaking in English. I don't do a live conversation in English for I did a pitch in a startup thing 3 months ago, but before that you can get 4 years or something like that. But that's cool. I'm not here to be perfect. This is the best thing about when you get, I'm not here to be perfect. I'm just here to be me, and that's cool. And I really appreciate what you are doing with CodeBuddies, because it's gonna help a lot of people. And keep going. That's it. I was telling Lígia and Anuradha before this is that my daughter, she needs roles, people to look for and see. Oh, there are girls doing coding. Oh, so doing coding, it's something. Oh, maybe I can work with code if I want to. But it's another skill you can build up. And this is the cool thing about seeing your project, you being fearless. At the same time, you have fear. I have my fears, and that's cool, but we are still doing it because we want to share knowledge, and that's the cool thing about this. And I really appreciate. We got some messages here, like maybe Lígia knows this one, Denise.
Yeah,
uh,
my mom.
yeah, and she's telling here that she's very happy for you. This is very cool. Very good.
That's a very
Yeah.
nice message. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, no, Lisa's mother, and she doesn't speak English, so for sure she cannot
You
understand
know,
anything that we're
maybe
talking.
got this Google Translate thing and did the word, boom, here she is doing a comment in a live show.
Yeah,
So this is the cool thing about being fearless. I say that when we are fearless, we are not, there's no, we have fear, but even so, I'm doing this because I
Yeah.
want to learn.
Yeah.
And this is the cool thing about life, I guess. So this is my take. So if you're watching this, go make sure you follow CodeBuddies on Instagram. Go get the follow on the podcast. I'm listening on my Spotify. This is very cool, and that's it. We are done. Any final words? And that's it.
so keep strong, keep coding, learn a
Yes.
lot, follow us, and if you have any questions, send to us. We're available on LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp,
Absolutely.
Twitter, every place.
Yes.
I love to answer questions, and
Yes.
she's a
And we would.
teacher.
No, yes, we would absolutely love to connect, and any questions at all, more than
Very
welcome. Yeah.
good. Very good. Okay. Bye bye.